Tick-tock, Max. The countdown to the 2025 crypto bull run has begun. This is your last chance. The gains, the dreams, the life you aspire, all hanging by the thread of this final surge. Will you seize the moment or will you let it slip? Possibly crypto's final curtain call is here. The stakes, higher than ever. The risks, imminent, but the rewards, life-changing. This is it, Max, your pivotal moment. Will you be left behind or will you rise to the occasion?
And we have to lock in to those life-changing gains. We have to accept the risks and push to the rewards. And in this video, I cannot stress enough how important this really is for those of you who are especially sleeping on this bull run, who are sleeping on your financial freedom, and most importantly, those who have come in the last bear market, who haven't seen a bull run yet. If there's going to be a damn video you watch on this entire damn platform, this is the one right now. I'm going to tell you something that you really need to listen to, right? Into here. And that is, this potentially is our last chance to make the world famous and renowned, right? Fast and highly profitable, crypto gains. We hear all these stories all the time, these people becoming millionaires overnight and bull runs changing their lives. Well, I'm going to provide you evidence today to actually say this is our last damn bull run, all right? At least in the sense of it's going to be the last bull run we have a typical crypto market. And look, I believe cryptocurrencies will be around past this next bull run into the 2030 bull run. Most definitely, it's going to be a completely different landscape at that point. I'm going to show you why in this video. Plus, I also have two experts that I want to introduce you to and then show you some of their sources as to why they're saying this. Now, one of those, hint, hint, is the gentleman that actually authored the book behind me, okay? So I'm reading that right now and I'm going to suggest it to everyone in just a second because it literally will change your perspective on the markets. He is world renowned at what he does. So, with that all being said, and honestly guys, the fire should be up your ass. If you hold up to the end of the video, I'm going to give you a really good clip that lit the fire underneath my ass, but this video should definitely do it for you. This has to do it for you, because if you don't, I am almost guaranteeing I'm going to be saying I told you so in the next bear market. It's almost guaranteed, right? So, let me now continue. For everyone that doesn't want to be told by No BS Crypto, I told you so, then pay attention, okay? This is it. Now, Jason Pizzinio is someone who is highly respected in the crypto space, but he branches out more than that, right? He's got 290,000 followers on YouTube, should have more. So hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter. But Jason follows the gentleman that I'm going to tell you about in a second here. He follows his teachings. He's read this book, I believe, and so he correlates a lot of his research and cycles based on what he says. And the gentleman's name is Philip J. Anderson, right? My father bought this book for me many years ago, and I feel like such an idiot for only picking it up and reading it recently, right? So Jason says, very importantly here, make no mistake, this final stage of the macro bull market in stocks, real estate, Bitcoin, and crypto is a symptom of a major collapse to follow this decade. 100%. What are those dates? Now, Philip J. Anderson mentions these dates as well as someone that's made the book behind me and the cycle expert. 2026 to 2027, literally like 2022. What happened in 2022? Well, we had the bear market, of course. Well, 2026, 2027, we're going to have all these cycles start to close, and they all just happen to close on top of each other. And one tweet that stuck out for me from Philip somewhat recently here is that over in Australia, they're elongating the mortgage terms, right? Because interest rates are high, they elongate the terms. That means it helps bring the overall payments down. Okay, but they're kicking the can down the road in this case, okay? And so while he says in this case, the real estate market will continue and find a way forward, it's going to find a way forward, and then it's going to have a sudden crash, okay? Look at the debt ceiling over in the US, that's bound to happen as well. So a lot of stuff is coming up in the next bear market, right? So it's evident to me that crypto, it'll be around again in 2030, but will it be as crypto-y? No. It's not going to be as pumpermentals as these people like to say it. A lot of this bull crap research methods that people like to tell you about in these Dogecoin and shit, a lot of those meme coins, they're going to be out of the picture. It's going to be a completely different environment. And why this is important, again, is what I'm going to tell you in this video and how to prepare for it and what to actually do, okay? And ultimately, you have to capitalize in 2025. You have to. If you don't, if you're someone who's working a 9 to 5, you're someone like Max, right? Who is someone essentially, in a way, who just also kicks the can down the road. Oh, I'll worry about it later. I'll do it later. I'm too concerned. Then you're going to have the massive I told you so moment in the next bear market from yours truly, right? So 2025, we are here. Now, the question you should all be asking yourselves is not just how do I capitalize in 2025, but also how do I also capitalize in 2026 to 2028, the next bear market, right? You won't really have time to process what's happening as that plays out. So you have to prepare now, right? You've got to be very careful for what's lurking past the 2025 door, right? So again, I consider Jason one of the masters at what he does. Actually, Philip himself is the GOAT, right? But most definitely Jason is an extremely intelligent man. I think most people who know of Jason will agree with me in that case. So I'm going to play a clip here, a very short clip of what Jason says based on that earlier tweet that I showed you.
And there is a lot of bad news out there and negativity, but this is probably one of those last times for a very long time that we can make significant gains quite quickly if you know what you're doing. So make sure you are prepared in your investment and trading plans. There is some good time to go, but the bad times will be bad. It'll make 2022 look like nothing. You'll wish you were in 2022 rather than what I think is going to come after roughly 2026-ish, maybe 2027. We still have a few years to go. So let's see how the markets continue to play out from that point.
So I mean, again, 2022 was the bear market, right? The massive crash we had, and Bitcoin went to its low in the last few years, so on and so forth. And again, I think he's right in this case, right? The Secret Life of Real Estate and Banking, the book behind me, you guys should definitely pick it up and give it a read, touches on this as well, okay? So it's something that Philip J. Anderson has spoken about many, many times before, and he's been correct way more times than he's been wrong, okay? So let me now tell you why. Why is it important that we take advantage of 2025? And then after this, I'm going to show you how you can then take advantage in the next bear market when all this stuff's going to shit, essentially, okay? So the catalysts for what can turn it into essentially slush is 3 events. Now, the third event, as you can see, will probably come after 2030 or on 2030, around there at some point. But we'll start on event 1, and we won't talk about all these in depth, right? Event 1 is crypto specific, and it's less severe out of the all 3 of them, but will pretty much pack a hefty punch in of itself, which is global frameworks for crypto are going to impact the industry in only one way, negatively. At least at first, okay, negatively at first, because everyone's going to panic, just like crypto is, a very juvenile market. Positively in the mid to long term. I think regulation is absolutely paramount, because if you're someone that's been hacked before, you will be an advocate of this. Simple as that. While many altcoins will survive what I call the cleansing, they'll be the ones who are already showing signs of strength in and out of the Web3 space. The ones that will survive will be the ones that are already proving that they are quality, right? We see MiCA looking to provide crypto asset clarity for Europe and the SEC on the hunt in the US. Now, with other countries falling somewhere around or beneath those levels of scrutiny. So again, very important. Each country is different, but there is going to be at some stage a series of frameworks implemented per country and jurisdiction, right? If current US frameworks are introduced, many altcoins will be classified as securities and or commodities, which could be scary. Well, I shouldn't say and or, and yeah, securities or commodities. Simple as that, right? But that's, of course, if traditional frameworks are implemented, like the Howey test, for example, right? Well, one way out of this would be to establish a bespoke agency plus framework that is tailored for crypto, like MiCA. All right, either way, be prepared for a possible shakeout. Whether it happens or not, I'm not too sure. It could be gradual, it might be sudden, we don't know. Just be prepared. But what we really have to understand here is event 2. This is what Jason was touching on. This is also what Philip J. Anderson touched on as well, which is a drop that altcoins and crypto will see, to send prices back to 2016 prices, if not even less. So whatever you're buying at right now, if this actually plays out, it's going to be much more significant than the crash we saw in early 2022. It's going to be on par, if not worse, than the GFC in 2008. Okay, so we're talking about crypto basically being wiped out, prices being lowest of the low of the low of the low, which is why I don't say hodl. If you hodl, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why would you hodl through a moment that you can pick up the coins even cheaper, but most importantly, sell and then buy in even cheaper? Doesn't make sense to me. Okay, let's move on. This is what Jason was warning us about. Many crypto bros say that money will flow into altcoins and Bitcoin due to the flexibility, security, and decentralized nature. I strongly disagree. If you hear someone down the street telling you, hey man, if the economy crashes, if the world goes to shit, crypto will survive, the money will flow into Bitcoin. I just don't see how that's ever a possibility, ever. Let's talk about this a little bit more. Crypto at that point will be likely still highly speculated, and most crypto holders in a situation like this will fear that their so-called speculative bet, which they all are at that point, still might not pay off when macro markets start to crumble, selling instinctively. Crypto isn't known to the masses as a safe place, not until frameworks are well and truly established, right? Now, it's known as a place where scammers thrive. It's known to be complex, make-believe money that you can't actually cash out, and more. None of which are, of course, positive. Don't be stuck holding the bag thinking it will be any different to this. You'll be kidding yourself. Now, the last event, all right? The last event isn't as severe as event 2, but it's just to do with CBDCs, right? CBDCs are coming no later than 2035 for most countries. If you don't believe me, have a look at the pilot map. A lot of countries are piloting, a lot of countries are implementing these things already, okay? They are coming. Some smaller countries don't want them. That's understandable, okay? Nevertheless, a lot of these first world countries are, and that means that we're going to be impacted whether we like it or not. Whatever becomes because I believe the US dollar will most definitely lose its position as the world reserve currency. You know, who knows what's going to take its place? Who knows what is coming after that? But you can't really bet on and off ramps being a viable option at that point. So be very well aware, okay? So what's the outcome here? What are we looking at? Well, 2025, guys, this is what you have to be thinking of. Make enough capital to change your life, even if it's only a 10x from where you are right now. Changing your life doesn't mean becoming a millionaire or having hundreds of thousands of dollars. It could be, if you've invested $10,000, it could be making couple $100,000, because that money will change your life, right? We then use that money or part of that money on these massive crashes that's due to come, expected to come in 2026 to 2028, and leverage the life-changing wealth to then create, guess what? Generational wealth. That's where you will create generational wealth. I'm going to show you a video in a second from someone who I find absolutely hilarious, but is a very well-respected entrepreneur. And he kind of touches a little bit on this. It's very, very funny, right? So in my opinion, prepare as best as you can for 2025. Imagine, 2025 as the last chance to make quick and large gains. In addition, imagine 2026 to 2028 as a chance to multiply those gains 10 to 50x, if not more. And I'm not even talking crypto. As I mentioned here, we're talking about property, stocks, even buying businesses. Probably even better to do in that case, right? We're talking about multiples in that case in traditional markets, not just crypto, okay? So don't be lazy. Don't think you know what you're doing, because you don't. Chances are you don't. No one knows what they're doing. So again, please take the time to do your research, right? You'll never have to work another day in your life ever again if you plan the next 3 to 4 years to a T, all right? I've got a plan and I teach it here on the channel, but here is a great set of tips to start, because 2025 is something that you can't get wrong. Unlike the last bull run, many of us got that wrong, okay? But if you haven't experienced a bull run, you will get it wrong. You will get it wrong, because you have that mentality of someone who thinks you can beat the market. It's very hard to do so if you're unprepared. So, of course, I've got my tips over here to help you find the right altcoins in 2025, which is the first and most important step of all. Without that, you can't really capitalize as efficiently in the next crash, or crashes, should I say, right? And so 2030, will there even be a 2030 crypto market? Well, this is why it's important not to 100% reinvest back into crypto from 2025. The prices in the next sort of bear market be far lower than what they are today if Jason, Philip, and myself are correct in what we are predicting. You'll likely have every chance to buy your long-term crypto assets back for likely far cheaper than you bought them in at. Plus, you'll be able to spend far less on them and acquire more tokens than what you can right now, allowing you to then reinvest in the safer asset classes like the ones I mentioned moments ago. Don't gamble. Let's calculate, guys. So again, you've all seen my picks on this. 1, find your altcoins, right? Research and pick them out, then agree on the total accumulation amount, how much you want to accumulate. Get an exit plan in place. God, the amount of times I hear people saying the most ridiculous things. I'll be right, I'll just sell over here and I'll sell this. It won't happen. You'll feel the hype, you'll feel FOMO, and you won't do it. Plan your exits. Plan a fallout plan. What are you doing next? Are you holding stables? Are you moving into fiat? What are you doing? And then think about property, stocks, starting a business, whatever it might be, to then propel you to, again, depending on where you are in your life, of course, to that generational wealth, or at least just enough freedom to move and live the rest of your life comfortably, right? And so I'm going to play this, right? If you're someone who doesn't mind a little bit of coarse language, I suggest you watch this to light the fire under your ass, because, as I mentioned before, it does light the fire underneath mine. Again, coarse language is most definitely used in this video. So don't watch this video if you are subject to a little bit of coarse language.
What are you going to tell your grandchildren? What are you going to tell your children 20, 25 years from now? What did you do, Grandpa? What did you do, Grandma, during the greatest transformation of motherfucking wealth in the history of the world? What did you do other than sit on your fucking hands? What did you do to take advantage of the greatest transformation of wealth in the history of the planet? What did you do? Not a fucking thing. That's what you're gonna say. Not a fucking thing. Because I was too much a coward. I was too much a weenie. I was too much a fucking cunt. When I say cunt, I mean coward. I didn't do anything. And that'll be your regret.
I mean, if that doesn't light the fire under your ass, and I mean, what will? What will? Okay, he's not wrong though. It's literally going to be one of those situations where you look back, whether you're 40 right now, whether you're 60 right now, you look back in the next 10, 15 years and think to yourself, why? Or if you're like me, you know, early 20s, late 20s, 30s, 40s, in the next 20, 30 years, you're going to be asked by your grandkids or your children, what did you do? What did you really do, right? Did you pay attention? Did you buckle in? This is the sort of thing I would love to tell the people I live in a small town. In my small town, I'd love to parade this video around because people are just oblivious as to what's happening here, but we aren't. We aren't, guys, and I'm really happy you watched the video the whole way through. Now, when I say life-changing, I'm not talking about millionaires, right? I want to say that for the record. I don't want you taking out loans or equity from your house, for example. All I mean is make life-changing wealth for you, enough where you can pay the bills and live a little less stressful, okay? And then take advantage in the next bear market again, because that is where we make generational wealth. Now, thank you all for watching this video. I hope it has helped. Bare minimum, I hope that it has lit the fire underneath you to then work your ass off. Wake up a bit earlier, sleep a bit later, whatever works better for you, and just plan this out, guys. I really just want you to succeed, and that's all I ask for, right? Thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you all soon. Take care. Bye.